Happy Easter morning to you, my friends. So good to see you. I told you I'd be here every day with you guys, so even on Easter morning, we're doing this. So someone said Happy Easter and Happy Passover. Yeah, I think that happened, like a few days ago here. So something around there. My mom is a Jews for Jesus, so she follows the Jewish custom, but Christian. So how about that? All different types of beliefs, and whatever you're celebrating today, happy that. So happy to be with you guys today. We're going to go for 2 hours today, and friends, it's the 12th day of the 30-day guitar challenge. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is how to read tablature, and the second thing we're going to be talking about today is how to practice with a metronome. So this will be really interesting. I do have a metronome set up here, and we're going to talk about two very essential things that can make you a better player. Understanding how to read tablature is super easy. I'm going to show you how to do that today. And working with a metronome, of course, is going to increase your ability to stay in time, which is kind of important. It's one of the 5-ish variables that we have when we're talking about music, right? We have melody, we have harmony, we've got timbre, or timbre, however you want to pronounce it. We've got dynamics, we've got expression. So timing is one of those as well. Rhythm, we've got rhythm. So we're going to talk about that today and how we can stay in better timing. If you haven't already, folks, you'll want to download this, okay? You'll want to download this from right below this video. The very first link is the PDF, okay? So download that, and then the second link below will give you access to the Unstoppable Guitar System for free, or there's a paid version as well if you really want to ramp up your skills, okay? All right, let's get into this today. Man, it is massively pouring out today. I wish I could turn the camera. Well, I sure I could. It's really pouring out there today. Up until recently here, we've had sunshine every single day the last few days here. So, but for whatever reason, I feel like on Easter morning it rains a lot. So, all right, let's get into some tablature, friends. What is tablature? Tablature is a way of reading musical notation. I'm gonna make sure I'm reading the comments here. Yeah, everybody can hear me. So, okay, good. Tablature is a way that you can instantly read musical notation without having to read musical notes. Some people look at it as a cop-out, but it's not a cop-out. It's just another way of reading, okay? Just like sign language is not a cop-out for those who can't hear, right? It's a valuable tool. So tablature is a great tool. It's not something new that rockers created so that they didn't have to read music. They were doing this hundreds of years ago because, and here's why, because on the piano, a middle C is a middle C. So if you see it written on the staff as a middle C, then it is what it is. I'm letting Tux in here. Come on, bud. Come on, quick, get in here. That's how we do live here. The cat wants in, then the cat gets in. So this has been going on for hundreds of years that people have been doing tablature, okay? And the reason being is that when we see a middle C on the musical staff and on a piano, it is only in one place, okay? Guitar, it's not so much that way. So for instance, if I hit a high E here, okay, I hit a high E, I can also hit a high E here, and a high E here, and here, and here. Those are all the same notes, and I just went 5 places on the neck. So standard musical notation does not tell you where to play. It does not say, play this fret or that fret. Tablature does. So this is very helpful, especially in the beginning when you don't know where on the neck to play. Yes, you can read music, and if you're in the open position, then there's only typically one place that you can go. Okay, maybe 2 places. If you go to around the 5th fret is where things start repeating again. So that's why tablature is really, really helpful. So if you know how to read music, great. And if you don't know how to read tablature, then you're in luck, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to go the simple version to start, which is always the way you should be doing everything. You have 6 lines, and just like your guitar, this is the thickest string, okay? So from the thick string to I'm sorry, I'm going to take that back. It's not like that. That's what confuses folks. It's more like musical notation. So think about this. This is the part that confuses folks when it comes to tablature, is when one's looking at it, they're thinking, okay, well, this is the highest string, so that would be this highest string. But it's actually the opposite. So the way I want you to think about it, let's just reframe your thinking here, and this will get you set, is that the higher you are in the building, the higher the pitch would be, okay? Al, thank you so much for the donation. Not because I can, but because I wanna. Oh, thank you, bud. Super kind, Al. So the higher you are up in the building, the higher you are off the floor, right? So think about that in regards to pitch. If we're going up the stairs, it might sound like this. Right? We're going up. That's going up in pitch, right? Raz7316, thanks for doing this on Easter Sunday. You're so welcome. You're so welcome, my friends. So, yeah, my wife's like, I don't think people are going to show up today because it's Easter. And I'm like, where are they going to be? But, yeah, we'll probably have less numbers today. But, look, a lot of folks are here, so that's great. Okay, so you got your 6 lines there, which represent the 6 strings. And just remember, the higher you are, the higher the pitch is. So this, in this case, would be the thinnest string or the highest pitched string. You might say, well, that's weird. Get over it. It's not a big deal. Just flip it around in your mind. It's the way we've been doing it for hundreds of years, so you got to get used to this. We're not changing it around for you today. This is the way it's done, okay? So you'll get it. Now, that being said, these are the strings. What we do is we do things like this. We go, let's see. Okay, we have stuff like this. So these numbers are the frets. Okay, 2-2, 4-2, 5-2, 4-2. That is the beginning of Crazy Train. Okay, because that lowest note there is a 2, and it's on the very low string, low in pitch. Okay, it's that easy. That's 99% of the tablature that you're going to look at. Now, there's some other little bits that we'll talk about here. But when we see these in a row like this, it doesn't tell you what the rhythm is. But what this does tell you is that this is linear. So this is like a sentence. Bum, 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 bum. Doesn't tell you what the rhythm is. Now, usually when you're reading tablature, you know what the song sounds like already. Otherwise, if you don't know what the song sounds like, tablature is not going to be very helpful for you. Musical notation will be more helpful because it typically provides more information, like the rhythms. Okay, there are ways that you can put rhythm into this, but now you're starting to look at regular standard musical notation, if you will. Okay, J.R. Lay, $1 for each day so far, keeping me focused and motivated to sane while cooped up. And sane while cooped up. Thanks for this, man. You're so welcome, JR. I know, friends, we got to keep our minds strong during this time, okay? Keep your minds strong because I know a lot of people have lots of questions about what's going on right now. I do too, and I have theories and all that stuff, and I won't share them with you. I'm a guitar teacher. You probably don't care to hear them anyhow, but I got my own theories about all this stuff. But one thing is for sure, we can keep strong during this time, and that for sure will beat whatever is going on, okay? I know I sound mysterious there, but for those of you that know what I'm talking about or have a vibe, then you know what I'm talking about. And the rest of you can ignore me as a crazy person, because I think I am. Okay, so we got the line there, right? 2-2-4-2-5-2-4-2. And so this is in a linear fashion. Now, if we wanted to play a chord, it might look something like this. Let's say this is a measure marker, right? Sometimes you'll see that in tablature, sometimes you won't. So 0, 2, 2, 0, 0, 0. Now, if you see things stacked up like that, like 0, 2, 2, 0, 0, 0, right? And if you see that, then that means it's a chord, okay? So for instance, so that should be played all at once, okay? So a chord is when it's all stacked up, and this is like a sentence. It's moving along, okay? Now, another thing that you might see, and I'm writing over the same thing. You typically aren't going to see two parts on one tablature. But if you see something like this, like 2, 4, and you see this is an H, that means it's a hammer-on, okay? You also might see it written like this, 2, 4, and then like an arc, okay? Because what that arc means is it means don't pick. So conversely, we could have a 4 and a 2, and it could be like that with an arc. Or it could say 4, 2, and it would say P, which would be pull off, okay? So you'll see that sort of thing written. Let's look at some more stuff here, okay? Now, with standard musical notation, you're able to denote things like expression, volume, crescendo, decrescendo, that sort of thing. Daniela, thank you so much for the donation. Super kind. Your theories are as interesting as your guitar teachings. Thanks for being here for all of us this month. Thank you, Daniela. I really appreciate that. Super kind. Okay, so let's look at this. The only thing I can tell you is this. There's a lot of people that have lots of opinions about lots of different things. Politics, religion, what's going on right now. And everybody thinks they're right on all of that stuff, right? Everybody knows they're right. So I just think it's interesting to take a little piece of everybody and just use your intuition and listen as much as possible and always just be open. Just be open to what might be out there, what you might not know. That's my philosophy, because what I've known to be true has changed so many times. So did I know it was true, or did I just change my theories, right? So it's important, though, to keep open about stuff like that. Okay, for instance, if I were to play a 2, this would mean the third string, right? The third lowest string. So this would be E, A, D, G, B, E. And so this would be the D string, it'd be the second fret. And if we see this, something like that, it's terrible, but you get an idea there. That's vibrato. Now, if you see something like this, if we see, it might say like an arrow, and it might say like a half. Jeez, this pen's failing on me. It might be, there might be an arrow or another fret. So I'll show you a couple different ways this could be written. So you'll see like an arrow, and it might be like a half step. So that would mean to bend it up 1 fret. And if it said a 1 there, it would be to bend up a whole fret. Now you also might see something like, you might see it in parentheses. Tablature is kind of not squirrely, but people have different rules for it. So you'll learn that just like shorthand, one person might do something different than another. It's kind of a very loose interpretation as opposed to musical notation, which is very strict. And because they've been doing it for hundreds of years too, but it's like the standard, the de facto way of reading music, okay? So in this case here, like my kid there in the background playing music, but just kind of randomly, tablature can be fairly interpretive, okay? Is that the word, interpretive? One guy might do it slightly different than another, okay? Now but there are some standards as well. And what I've shown you so far is the standard stuff. Try not to get too far into it. But you will experience things in tablature, not very often, that you're going to go, well, what does that mean? Just do a little Google search on it, because we could really go down the rabbit hole on this as far as reading tablature. And I just want to make this a nice simple lesson for you guys so that you can go start reading tablature right away. Now, my favorite tablature site is, and I have a love-hate relationship with it, is Ultimate Guitar. The reason that I have a love-hate relationship with it is they have all the tablatures. Many years ago, there was another website, and they got, I forgot what happened, but it was some sort of legal bit, right? This was when they were doing a crackdown on guitar teachers and websites that were showing people how to play guitar. Dear God, what's going to happen? We're going to break the music scene, right? We're going to break the backs of the record labels, but this is what they thought. And so they really cracked down on all this stuff, and there was an old website, and then that went away because of that, and then Ultimate Guitar came in, took all those tabs, and they're out of Russia or something. The Russians are like, whatever, double bird, and they're just doing their thing. So it has all the great tablatures and what have you. I just don't love the website for some other reasons, but I won't get into that. All right, talking too much in code today. All right, let's get to some questions here. I'd rather listen to you guys than me right now because I'm babbling. What does it represent when the arc crosses the strings? When the arc crosses the strings. So do you mean, okay, so yeah, if you're seeing it like that, well then that usually denotes like a chord. Okay, everything's being played at once. Oh, Paul's lit. All right, so, hey friends, don't get offended here, okay? Keep your mind open. If this is poppycock, you can just release it as poppycock and you don't have to worry about it, because if it's complete bunk, then you don't have to worry about it. But Paul's saying 5G weaponized bats through chemtrails, nanochips inserted in us using toilet rolls, virus released to destroy those who refuse to be controlled. There's some stuff there, Paul's saying. So just look it up. Feel free to look this stuff up. There's a lot of folks that are popping the top off some of this stuff, and you got to pay attention. You're not going to find it on your local news station. That's a script. Okay. All right. God, I got to throttle myself back. Okay, what denotes a slide? That's a great question. Thank you. Yes, please, go ahead and prompt me here, because I'm all over the place today, and I apologize. Dude, I'm doing a live show! You made a poo-poo. All right. Live. We really are live. I know, you'd hardly believe it, but this isn't a highly produced show. The sarcasm is real today. All right, so yes, here's a slide. Go ahead and ask me questions on stuff like this. If I know it, I'll tell it to you. So if you were doing a slide, it would look something like this. Boop. Okay, that means you're on the 2, you pick that 2 and you slide up to 4, but you don't pick it, you just slide up to it. And if we were going back down, then it would look like that, okay? So in that case, you'd pick 2, you wouldn't pick 4 and you wouldn't pick 2, you would just slide. So it would look like this. That's on the middle string. That's on the the 4th string here, so it would look like this. That's what that would look like. Cool? All right. Okay, yeah, it's supposed to rain all day, like for 24 hours it's supposed to rain here. We're probably going to see flooding. I always see it because we live like right off the river, and I literally can look from here. I can look and see down my neighbor's backyard. He's right off the river, and you can see it flood there, and it massively floods. It's crazy because we live right next to the Harpeth, which dumps into the Cumberland, which I think dumps into probably the Mississippi or something, but it's massive flooding, we're pretty sure, is going to happen today. What denotes a pull-off and hammer-on? I think it would be what Frankie was asking about, the arc. Yes, it is the arc. Or it'll say H, or it'll say P, hammer, H for hammer-on, P for pull-off. Okay? Where's the cat? Well, I let him in. He's sitting over here near my other guitars. Yeah. Any recommended website for chords only versus the full tabs? Doug, Ultimate Guitar also has the chords. You've got to learn to use the website, okay? So spend a little time on the website. It takes a little getting used to because they do have lots of useful tools there. It's a great tool for musicians. But if you just want to search for chords, they've got it. And it's all user content. So one person will go ahead and put a chord chart out there, and then someone else will say, take that chord chart and go, yeah, that's right, but this one chord's wrong, and it's all voted on and stuff. So so just like YouTube, you can find out what's the best. Except for YouTube, that censors videos, that takes videos off that they don't want to be on. Not my videos, because I ain't saying anything. I'm thinking things, but I ain't saying anything. Because I'm a guitar teacher. It's not my job to. But I can hint to you where to look. Okay, can you show us a hammer-on? So a hammer-on is when we do this. Julia, thank you for the donation, sweetie. So kind. Thanks for bringing the light. Good days are coming, and we'll be ready. 100%. More than anything, friends, more than anything, there's a happy ending to all of this. So just remember, and I don't even know about an ending. Just understand that, just keep up, Don't worry. There's just no need to worry about anything. There's just no need to worry, but thank you so much. Okay, so a hammer-on is here at the 3rd fret of the 4th string. We're going to pick that note. And if I wanted to hammer here, what I'm going to do is, I don't pick that note. I pick the 1st note. I hammer the 2nd. And what that requires is, it's kind of like tapping, like if I thumped you in the head. Boom, right? Right there. If I did that, if I thumped you, you'd be like, wow, that was pretty powerful. And that's kind of the idea that you want to do here is, it's not like you're punching the note, but you're just popping it. It's like a snap, okay? No one gets this at first. No one gets pull-offs at first, okay? No one gets it. It takes time to do this. You'll be able to, but no one gets it at first. But miraculously, with practice, you'll get it. And that's it. Thumping back at you. What's up, Kiefer? Yeah, you're right, John. Tux is a typical roadie. Yes. Bernie and Burner is saying Earth is having a reboot. Yes, in many ways. Do you want to know how to win during this time? I'll go ahead and say it. Here's how you can win during this time. Improve your mind, improve your heart, improve your spirit. Spend time with your family. Pray if you're a praying person. Meditate if you're a meditating person. Just go out in nature if you're an atheist and you just don't believe in anything. At least go out in nature and absorb the nothingness that's out there. Just absorb, just have a good time. Absorb nature and just have a kind heart. That's how we win in all of this. Love always wins. I know that sounds really generic and really weird right now, folks, but love always wins. It's 100% true. Okay, Ken is saying, Happy Easter to you and your family. I have an acoustic guitar, GS Mini. I have one of those too, and I love it. 7/8 size of a dreadnought. Can I put strings meant for full-size acoustics on it? Ken, first off, thank you so much for the donation. And yes, that particular guitar you can use regular strings on. Yep, I do. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. What does that mean? That's Indian. What does that mean? Let me know. Ataraxia. Please let me know. Is a classical guitar the same structure? So, as far as the stuff that's important, like how it's tuned and the frets and all that stuff, yes, it's the same structure. So the scales and the chords and everything are the same exact. But the way that you approach the instrument's a little bit different, right? So like a Porsche, you're going to drive differently than a dump truck and differently than a sedan. But they all drive, they all have wheels, they all have a steering wheel, they all have engines, but we're going to drive them differently. So similarly with guitars, they can all be a little bit different, okay? Okay, so Jizan is saying, I'm having problems with changing between the C and the D chord. Jizan, I have a video that will walk you through this because it's a good 15-minute explanation, which I can't do right now if I want to get to other people's questions, because we'd only be able to get to like 3 or 4 questions during this, along with the lessons that I'm teaching. So inside of UGS, it's the second link below. Second link below this video right now in the description. Click on that, and then there's a free program that I have for you with the top 30-something lessons that I teach all my students. And one of the most important lessons in there is how to transition between chords. You can use any 2 chords. This could be C, D, could be D, B7, any 2 chords, doesn't matter. But you have to understand the mentality, and you have to understand the steps. And the way to do this is, the way I teach this to you in the video, there's steps. And until you can engage your brain to think that way every time, and it's really slowing it down so that you can get this much quicker. It's not a shortcut, but it's the way to learn it so that you can do this stuff much, much quicker. But you've got to understand this mentally, conceptually first before you can apply it to anything. And then you can apply it to any 2 chords. It doesn't matter. Okay. What maintenance am I doing with my guitars? That's a great question. So twice a year, I have my guitar tech come in, take a look at all my guitars, puts them on the bench, restrings them, makes sure that all the frets, make sure that there's nothing wrong with it. He checks every single thing out on the guitar. So I have him do that twice a year. If you're not doing that and you're having issues with your guitar, then just take it down to a guitar luthier. You don't have to do it twice a year, but if your guitar is having an issue, then it would be a great idea to do. Otherwise, for me, I find that 2 times a year is sufficient, okay? Jimmy, oh, brother, thank you so much for the super generous donation. That is amazing. You know, it really moves me so much when you guys do this because, like, you don't know me. I mean, you know me from here, but, like, it's really, 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 really kind, and I truly appreciate it. And so does my staff, who's also working with me right now, even on Easter morning, even though we're not at the studio. So it really means a lot to us. Thank you. I appreciate your humor, knowledge, and time. You are kind. You are very kind to our vets. Thanks, brother. Thank you, brother. Jimmy, thank you so much. Well, I really appreciate our freedoms. And, you know, I had a father who grew up in Berlin during the war. Right? Grew up with Hitler as his superior there, right? And they didn't like Hitler either. The only guys that liked Hitler were the Nazis that were too afraid of standing up and what have you. You know the story. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think all Germans are terrible. My father did not want to be in Germany. Most of them didn't want to be in Germany. That's why he escaped from Germany, because it was terrible there. Anyhow, he grew up in Berlin, and he grew up with literally having Bolsheviks, which were, I think, Russians or, you know, part of Russia or something, like invade his home, live in his home with his mom and his sister, and doing things that soldiers do. So my father actually grew up with this. He grew up living in a basement for months, like right now, except he couldn't go outside at all, lived in a basement. it's pretty crazy. So I very much appreciate the freedoms that we have. I don't have to have gone through the war. I could go back and live through my father, and I can recognize that. And us young ones who have not gone through a war need to remember that, and we need to be very need to be very cognizant of what it is that our forefathers brought to us. Yes, there's always change. There's always things that can change and should change, and we should constantly question those things. But at the same time, we should also be thankful for our freedoms. And freedom, as they say, is not free. It sometimes there are things that have to be done, and it's not always the best situation in the world. But there are those who go forward for us, like our soldiers, and we're very appreciative of those. If you are a veteran or you are in the military right now, we provide the entire Unstoppable Guitar System for you for free. So go to yourguitarsage.com/veterans, and that's how to get in there, okay? Brian, happy Easter. I find it too easy to click next and binge watch UGS core lessons. I'm about 60% efficient fretting scales and 40% at picking. Where should I be before moving on? Brian, beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're in there. I'm glad you're learning that. Thank you for the testimony, because some folks think that I'm goofing around with that free course, but I'm not. And you know, man, that's like literally the best lessons that you will get in all of UGS. Those are the best lessons. This is the beginning lessons there. Doesn't mean you don't need the other ones, but those are the ones that are going to build you a solid core. So Brian, thank you. What I suggest you do, Brian, is keep going, just step by step, as I teach in that first welcome video. And then if you want to investigate theory for a while, then start at intermediate theory before you go to the advanced theory. If you want to study technique or chords, go to the intermediate chords before you go to the advanced chords, because I have the whole course, 1,000-something videos, right? Step by step by step. Once you're done here, now you're ready for this. Don't skip anything, okay? That's like being in school and skipping a grade. Some people do that, but they don't actually skip the grade. They just go around the grade. So they're missing that whole year of education. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but what I'm saying is they're not getting a whole year of whatever it is they would have learned there. It may not be valuable for them, okay? And when it comes to guitar, we got to do this step by step, okay? You got to do it. Do I need to study piano for music theory? Frolian, I use the piano oftentimes inside of UGS to help folks understand music theory, because it's all black and white. Literally right in front of you, you can see all the natural keys and all the sharp keys, and it makes a lot of sense on the piano. So you don't have to, but it's very, very helpful if you can understand basic music theory on the piano as it applies on the piano, and then you can bring it forth to the guitar very easily. If you start on the guitar, sometimes it can be a little bit dicey because it's not as clear cut. And again, a middle C is a middle C on the piano. It's not a middle C on the guitar, because you can play it many, many different places. I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the program, so I'm going to go ahead and do it now. If you have not liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Please do that. If you have already, then don't do that again. You'll negate the last one. But if you have already and you can share this, I would so appreciate that. Thanks. Let's let other folks know that we're a positive bunch here and we got stuff to do, and we want to get better at the guitar. We want to get better at improving our minds and our spirits, and that we've got a great attitude, good love in here. Okay? That's not poppycock, man. I've lived my life 2 different ways. Have I told you this? I've lived my life 2 different ways. I've lived in that negativity. I've lived in that depression. It was years ago. And it's infectious, just like good things and a good attitude is. And the more you surround yourself with good, kind, positive, loving people and thoughts and ideas and programs and social media, good stuff, and good programs on TV if that's what you're going to watch, and good YouTube videos, okay? And good positivity. The higher your vibration is going to be, the more you're going to be able to bring to this world. And let me tell you, friends, if we've ever needed you specifically, me specifically, but you specifically, because you and me together make up the us and the them, then collectively we can change the world. But it does not start with them changing the world. It starts with us. And before that, it starts with me. And the me is you. Okay, so what I mean by that is Just increase that vibration by doing good things, eating good foods, hanging out with good people, having good thoughts, all that stuff, meditating, praying, being in the zone, getting fresh air, being out in nature. Dude, I'm telling you, that stuff I know 100% works every single time. Can't argue with it. There's stuff you can't argue with, and I won't mention any of that stuff because it's just theory, but do that stuff, friends, because we need that, and we need you. The world needs you to be strong. I'm not just saying that to whatever. I'm saying that because, dear God, if there's ever been a time that we need you to step up and you to rise up and me to rise up, it's right effing now. Okay, let's do that. All right. Hanging out with the animals as well. Yes, I love it, man. They're pure, man. They're totally pure. Any tips on barring? Ferducci is saying, yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Barring, okay? I have a video for you called the effing F chord. You can watch that afterwards here, okay? Effing F chord. Here's what you want to do. The F chord right here. Here's the F chord. This chord, you can play as major, you can play as minor, you can play as seventh, you can play as a minor seventh, that's 4 so far. You can play as a major seventh, it's 5. You could play, those are the 5 easiest ones. I'm going to keep these easy. Then you can take that same form, move it down a string. Now you have a minor chord. Okay, so we're going to say that's 6, minor 7. That's 7 chords. Play it as major. That's 8. Play it as a 7th. That's 9. Play it as a major 7th. That's 10. Play it as a minor flat 5, that's 11. So right there you can multiply those 11 chords times 12, and how many chords is that? That's a lot, okay, over 100. So literally, if you understand how to play this one F major chord, you can play hundreds of new chords. Number one, I gotta say thank you to this super kind donation for $50. Gary Bolognese, is that how to say it? Bolognese, right? Isn't that how to say it? Gary, thank you so much. I don't know why I keep saying, isn't that how to say it? Like someone's going to reply to me. Gary, thank you. Super kind, bud. That keeps the lights on. I appreciate it, man. So right there, there's 11 different ways. If you can just understand how to form this chord. Now think about this for a second. What I always say is this. There's first conceptualizing this. So I can say, okay, this is a major chord. You can hear it, and you can hear a minor chord, and it looks like that minor chord, and the major chord looks like this major chord. You can go, oh, I see that. So you get it conceptually, but doesn't mean you're able to play it yet. So just remember, there's 2 things. Number one, another donation just came in. Thank you, Keith Thurm. So kind of you. So kind. Thank you, buddy. And that avocado is having a field day. I like to tickle my guy. Oh, that sounded weird. I like to tickle my son like this little avocado. See how he's freaking out like that? I tickle my son relentlessly to where he's like, stop! It's so fun. I totally, it makes me so happy. Rob, thank you so much. Go, go, go! Beautiful. Thanks for the donations, friend. That's really super kind. So conceptually, you need to first get this, right? And then being able to actually fret it is a whole nother thing. Let's talk about it. So I use this concept all the time about juggling, right? If you can juggle with 3 balls, then you definitely can juggle with 2, but it doesn't mean you can juggle with 4. So if you're having a hard time juggling with 2, you probably ought not to throw a 3rd ball in there. It's going to make it difficult. So when we're talking about a 6-note chord, and you're having difficulty with a 6-note chord, and you're saying, why am I having difficulty with this? I see Eric play it all day long. Well, I've been playing for 30-something years. I've been practicing. Wasn't born with this. 0 guitar players have been born with this. They all had to practice this, by the way. So anybody who's having a frustrating time on the guitar, welcome to the club, bro. Okay? Everybody goes through this. So you're special, but you're not that special that you don't have to go through the same thing that I did and Eddie Van Halen and all the greats did. Okay? Not that see how I threw myself in with the greats there? Yeah. But no, I don't mean that. I mean, I'm a guitar player, okay? But nonetheless, everybody has to go through this. So just understand that. You can do this, but not without the practice. And this probably the same practice that everybody else has to do. But don't think that you're doing more. You're probably not. It's just a mental game, and you're thinking one thing, okay? You can think all sorts of things. Doesn't mean they're true, okay? So with that being said, you've got to practice this using 2 notes at a time. You're going to juggle. I don't know anybody that tries to juggle 4 balls at once to start off. If they do, you need to back it off, okay? So what I say is practice this first. Now, I'm going to get in a weird thing here so I can really show you. This is the F chord, right? I'm not going to practice a 6-note F chord before I practice a 2-note, which a 2-note's not really a chord, but let's just pretend, right? I'm going to practice these first 2 notes. I cover this in the F chord videos. I have a whole series of this inside of UGS, but look for anything on bar chords by Your Guitar Sage. Search Your Guitar Sage bar chords or Your Guitar Sage effing F chord, and this will make sense, okay? Because I go in high detail with this. So I play 2 notes of that chord, 1 and 2, and then I do strings 2 and 3, and then I do strings 3 and 4, and then I do strings 4 and 5, and then I do strings 5 and 6. Now, why do I do that? Ray Jordan, thanks so much for the donation, brother. You rule. Thank you, sir. Really super kind. So just do that. Now, why do that? Because what we're trying to do here is we are trying to find out where we are. Okay? So just like that juggler, you need to find out where you are, number 1. And number 2, you need to be able to see your progress. So if today you can only do 2-note double stops of these chords, and then tomorrow you're doing 3 notes, what that's going to do, that's like going to the gym, working out a few times, and looking in the mirror and going, hey, sexy, how you doing? That's going to encourage you to get back to the gym. But if you work your ass off, if you work your hiney off at the gym, and then my neighbor is standing in the rain sweeping the street. Sorry, that's a weird little sight there I saw. So if you go to the gym and you work your buns off and you don't see any progress and you're not losing any weight, you're not feeling good at all. Steve, thank you so much for the donation, bud. You guys are bringing it today. That's really super kind. Thank you. If you do that, it's not going to encourage you. So you want to be encouraged. This is why, friends, listen. Yes, there's a step-by-step way to learn guitar. This is why I teach you step-by-step. But it's not, I don't do it for no reason. I do it because of several reasons. But the 2 biggest reasons are, number 1, it's the only way to learn things properly is to learn them step-by-step. You learn the easy stuff before you learn the hard stuff, right? And then the other reason is because so you can feel that sense of momentum of moving forward. We were meant to grow. Okay, Tony Robbins talks about this all the time. In fact, this morning I woke up, I was feeling a little bit down, and I was like, well, bro, like, one day you meditate 3 times in a day, and another day you meditate 1 day, and another day you miss. And I'll do the same thing with working out and other stuff, okay? And I realized that it is a discipline. It's about doing things every single day. Of course you don't feel like going to the gym. Of course you don't feel like meditating. Of course you don't feel like doing breathing exercises. Of course you don't feel like eating correctly. That's a duh. You're not the only person in the world that feels that way. Everybody does. But it's that constant saying, no, man, I know, but I'm going to do the right thing always. That's what I say at the end of my videos. That's what I mean by that is like, we know what to do. It's not like we don't know what to do in the world. We know what to do for the most part. I don't know what every single food item I'm supposed to eat is, but I do know that there's certain things I'm supposed to do and certain things I'm not supposed to do. And if I just started with those and I was just consistent with those, I'd be good. Same thing with your playing or going to the gym or anything else. If you practice this stuff, you're going to feel that forward momentum. So we got to feel that momentum. We have to feel that growth. Otherwise, we're not going to be encouraged to continue, okay? So now, let's go back to this. So let's say you got these 2 down. That's like juggling with 2 balls, okay? Good for you. You're juggling with 2 balls now. Now, someone's asking how are my push-ups going. Very good. Thank you, Don. I've hit a little bit of a plateau. I'll say for right now. The last time I did them, I did 49 push-ups, which I have not done 49 push-ups in probably 2 decades. So that's a big win for me. But I want to keep going because my goal was to do 8 or 70 this month. But I don't. We'll see. We'll see about that. I would still like that as a goal. I like to make unrealistic goals a little bit. So I like to set 2 goals, one that's realistic and one that's unrealistic, just because just because. Okay, so here we go. So here, now that you do the 2 notes, you're going to do 3 notes. Okay, why are we doing this? Number 1, so that you can also focus on what's happening with these individual fingers, because remember, we got 5 notes, and each one of these is a little asset piece or a little obstacle, and if one of these doesn't work, then this is the way to identify it, and if one of them doesn't work, then you're going to assume the whole chord doesn't work, right? So, but that's not true. We just need to focus on the one thing that's not working. That's why we isolate like this. So there's 1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, and 6, 5, 4. Once you do the 3s, now you're going to do 4. Then you're going to do 5 strings. And then that'll work you up to 6 strings. Does that make sense? This takes time, so you're not just going to get it overnight. Nobody ever has, so you're not going to. I can just tell you that straight out. So take your time with this. Be disciplined and do it often. Okay, let's see what time it is. Okay, we're going to go 10 minutes yet before we get into. Ah, dear Lord, did I? Okay, I did do it. Sorry. I'm all over the place this morning. I'm sorry. I did not have the best night last night, sleep-wise, and I also need to be more consistent with my meditations. I will confess. I did meditate yesterday, but not as much as I normally am used to doing. So, okay. Oh, Steve, was there another donation that came in? Yeah. Well, if I missed you, Steve, thank you for the donation. If I missed that, thank you. So appreciate that. And Ray Jordan, thank you for the donation. Okay. All right, let's get to some. Tom coming in hard with another donation. Wow, beautiful. Tom, thank you, bud. So kind. After years of frustration, thinking I didn't have the talent required to play guitar, I found UGS, and it's been a game changer for me. Thank you, Eric. You're so welcome, Tom. I love that you feel that, man. You know, years ago, I went from saying that I want to be this amazing guitar player into I want to invest back into other people. And I don't know what happened. I think as you get older sometimes, when you're younger, you have things that you want to say and you want to, maybe more ego. I don't know. But nonetheless, I really wanted to become virtuoso guitar player. Things changed in life. I won't go into all the history because it'll be really boring for you guys. But nonetheless, I had my own little roller coaster ride of a life earlier on. Stuff happens, right? And then I said, after that, I said, I really want to invest in other people. And I really poured myself into teaching. And I love it because I love when that light goes on for people. Because just like the video that my buddy Clint just created, and I said it in this interview, it's like, if I can teach you, it's like I'm kind of tricking you into understanding that your spirit has unlimited potential. Yes, we have this physical body that we're stuck in, this meat wrapper that we're stuck in, but we all know that there's another part of us, right? I think even those who are atheists, they know that there's something else. Maybe not. Maybe we turn to worm food. I don't know, but I don't think so. And I think even some atheists will say, hey, there is something else, but I don't know what it is, but there's something else beyond what's happening here, you know? Whatever, that's everybody's own beliefs. I'm not pushing my beliefs on anybody, and I'm not entirely sure what I believe. It changes from day to day. It vacillates, okay? But I've been full-on Christian, I've been full-on atheist, and now I'm somewhere just observing. I'm observing. That's all I'm doing. Observing, and I do know that being kind, that there's nothing wrong with that, and that always works. Anyhow, sorry, getting off on a tangent here. I love to hear when people realize that it's not talent. Maybe talent is the end result of your practice. That's fine to say, oh boy, he's really talented. But to say, oh boy, what a gift. What a gift you have. I understand that idea, but is it a gift if you sit there and you work and you work and you work and you work on it? Maybe it's just a gift of life that you have the ability and the desire to get good at something. But at the end of the day, you work really hard for something. So, and I love when people realize this, because if you realize this on the guitar, and this guitar literally saved my life. Not this particular guitar, but guitar, music in general, saved my life many times. And so if I can get that in you, then that's my contribution in the way that I can do it. I'm not Tony Robbins, right? He's got his calling. Me, I'm going to teach you how to play guitar, but I'm also going to show you that it's not just about guitar. There's other things that you can do that you never knew, you never realized you could do. So Tom, thank you so much for that donation. That is super duper kind. And Rob also came in with a donation. Thank you for your passion, for sharing your love of your guitar. Thank you, Rob. I'm so appreciative of that, my friend. Do you have a video on how to F? Lewis is asking. I do have a video on how to F. How to play the effing F chord, if that's what you mean. I do have that, yes. Age helps you move from narcissism to altruism. Yes. So Lewis, search Your Guitar Sage effing F chord, EFFING. Search that. Also search Your Guitar Sage bar chords after you watch the effing F chord, and I'll show you how to do it, okay? Many times, kindness is a sign of strength. Jim, yeah, kindness is always a sign of strength. I don't know, if it's genuine kindness, it's always a sign of strength. Always, always, always. And it's the thing in the world needs the most. Can you think of absolutely any situation that the world is going through, that the world has gone through, that kindness and that love truly would not resolve? It's always going to resolve if you have love. And I'm not talking about just like happy thinking type. I'm talking about love. I'm talking about if a country, two countries that were going to war, realize that we're the same and that we just have different ways that we look at things. Or hell, look at the political environment right now. I'll sit down with folks, because I tend to be a bit in the middle. Growing up, I was more conservative, but I can see the things that the left wants to do, and sometimes that stuff's right, and I see the stuff that the right wants to do, and sometimes that stuff's right, and sometimes the left's wrong, sometimes the right's wrong. I would never, give my all to one particular party, and I'm sorry if I'm offending some people right now, but I just realized that it's much more complicated than that, and much more simple at the same time. But at the end of the day, I've met with my friends that are uber liberal, and my friends that are uber conservative, and a lot of times we think the exact same way. It's just the way that we're phrasing it. This is, I talk about music all the time, relative, major, and minor. It's like you can have C major and A minor, and they have the exact same notes and the exact same chords, but it's just how you play those that lean one way or the other. Okay, and I've seen, the world is moving more towards this middle area where it has more to do with thinking. It's not watering down. It's more of like this thinking of going, now wait a minute, what do they have right? And I think it would be very unmature for us if we didn't take a moment to do that, to look at the person who we're calling our enemy, or look at the person who we're saying that's opposing us, and say, well, now what do they really want? What are they getting at? Because you will find a lot of times that that you might understand them, and they might understand you if they actually took a moment. Okay? Okay, sorry, I'm getting off a subject here. What is the minimum clearance between strings and fret, and where should it be measured? Paul, completely subjective matter. Bluegrass players will like their strings higher, so it really depends on how you play, and it's not a specific measurement, it's a feel, okay? There's not a correct answer for that. Anybody saying there's a correct answer is not knowledgeable in that, okay? And I've never heard someone say that there is a specific measurement. You got to know what it is you're trying to get out of the instrument and how you're playing it and what have you. So if you can play it for a luthier and they can set your guitar up according to that, that's going to be the best way to think about this, okay? All right. It's all about compassion and empathy. Esther, I knew I loved you. You're 100% right. It's about compassion and empathy. And literally, if you and me and Bill Gates and every single one, I mentioned Bill Gates because he's kind of in the spotlight right now because of some reasons. You can do your own investigating there, but nonetheless, if we all were to think with this compassion and empathy, the world would absolutely change. 100%. In fact, it is changing. It's waking up. People are doing this we're waking up as a collective. And Bernard just said it's true. Just watched your video and looked at the PDF, but not sure I have it. So you show it in the key of A, start on the 5th. So in the key of C, do you start on the 1 on the 8th? Is that right? Yes, kind of. If you're playing the scale, usually when you play a scale, you play it from the letter name of that scale, okay? So if it's a C major scale, then you typically play it from C to C. From C to shining C. And if it's an A minor, then you play it from A to A. But let's think about this for a minute. They're the same. They have the same ingredients. They have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There's no sharps or flats. So in the key of A and in the key of C, they're the same. When we're playing a scale, we typically play it from the root note to the root note just so it has that sound in our ear and it has a cadence and it ends correctly. But yes, since they contain the same notes, that's why it does this. In fact, let me give you an example really quickly here before we get into the next part of the lesson, okay? So here we go. This bit that I did in the beginning here was in the key of E minor. So let's watch this. Here's the E minor scale. Okay, watch this. That's in fact, I'm going to turn some of these effects off. That's E minor. Here's G major, right? Now I'm going to play the same scale, right? What I mean by that is I'm going to play G major scale, but it's the same set of notes. Here's E minor. E minor now. So those share the same exact notes, right? The difference is just really the notes that you're emphasizing. And so if I played something in G major, I could use the same two sets of scales. And again, it's just going to sound the same thing because it's the same ingredients. But what is it that we're emphasizing? Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Okay, friends, here we go. We're shifting gears a little bit. There's 546 of us in here, and that's pretty amazing for this Easter morning. But where are you going? The same place I'm going. We're staying in, we're staying in for now, because that's what they're telling us to do. All right. Shall we? We're going to look at part 2 here, friends. It is day 12 of the 30-day guitar challenge. If you have not already, please hit like so that other folks can know about this, and also share it if you would. If you've hit liked already, then don't do it again. Right? Okay, so it's day 12. You should have downloaded the PDF already. So if you're just joining us for the advanced lesson, then welcome. PDF is link 1 right below here. It's 5 pages. This is just 1 page because this is, or you can just take a picture of this in case you want less information for free. If you want less information for free, then just take a screenshot of this. Otherwise, download the PDF that has other free things in there as well. Yeah, so go in there. Check it out. Link 1 below. So this is our syllabus, and this is all the beginner stuff, and I'm walking you through the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard every single day during the month of April for 2 hours from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And this beginner lesson we just went past, and now we're going to the advanced lesson. This is walking you through UGS Standard, which is free for you today. Eric, how do I get in there? I'm glad you asked. It's the second link below, the very second link below this video. Click on that, and then you'll see once you get to there that you can download, or not download, but you can get into the Unstoppable Guitar System for free, okay? Or if you want the pro membership, you can do that as well. Would love to have you, but obviously no pressure. Okay, so 2 things that I want you to do there, and you liked and you did all that. Okay, so now let's talk about using a metronome, shall we? What is a metronome? A metronome, now I'm gonna have to pause this guy, that's me. I'm gonna pause that for a quick second there. Okay, so a metronome is this thing that does this. Right? A metronome keeps time. And so what does this look like? I'll show you. It looks something like this. This is an app, right? And you can see the little thing going across there. It's 120 beats per second. So that's 2 clicks per second. So a second is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we were counting with a clock, we'd see 120 beats per, this thing would click 120 times per minute. Okay, that's how we decide the BPMs, beats per minute. So if it were at 60, it would be 1 per second. Now, what is this helpful for? This is helpful for keeping time and developing time. So like I said, you develop your voice, you develop your guitar playing, you develop your body when working out or eating right, you develop your spirit, your mind when you meditate, you can develop your timing when you work with this is called Pro Metronome, by the way, Gary Schmitz, but there's tons of free metronomes. Just search METRONOME in your store of choice, Apple Store, Google, or whatever. And then, oh, I can do it sideways. Oh, that's even better. Okay, good. Oh, good, look at that, nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. So that's helpful to visually be able to do this. Okay? Download some sort of metronome app or go buy a metronome, or you get one of those old school ones which aren't quite as accurate as these. But this is what you would want to do. Can you guys see that there? Yeah. So here's how I'm going to practice this. You could practice anything with the metronome. You could practice your chords, you could practice your scales, you could practice, any sort of rhythm. But what you want to do when you're getting used to playing with a metronome, and this is assuming that you've already gotten past all the beginner stuff in UGS. It's really, really important that you understand that first, because if you're using a metronome before then, you're probably going to hold on. Oh, okay. Jez is saying people are scared of downloading the PDF if they're going to get a virus. You're not going to get it. Look, man, I'm in the business of helping people play guitar. There's a reason that more than 500,000 people have taken my guitar lessons. It's not because I'm handing out viruses. That's not how it works. That's a terrible way to stay in business, okay? Idiots put viruses on things, and it's typically not going to be on some website that's legitimate like mine, okay? Yeah, definitely. There's not handing out anything like that. Why would I benefit from that? I'm not gonna. Okay, so here we go. So when we're playing with a metronome, you gotta have the basics down first. Otherwise, what this is gonna do is it's gonna stress you out, okay? Just like a kid who's learning and you're standing over them with a ruler going, no, that's wrong, no, that's wrong. That's not a way to learn. The brain needs to absorb, it needs to conceptually get ideas. Then you can practice, then you can get stricter with yourself, but at first you got to get the principles down. So I wouldn't work with a metronome till you at least go through the beginner section of UGS first, okay? Don't work with a metronome until you've done that at least first, okay? Now, when working with a metronome, here's what you want to do. You set the metronome to something that is clicking on every time you're doing an action. At the very minimum, you might even have it double that. So what I mean is this. I could play the scale like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In that case, I'm hitting 2 notes for every beep, right? For every beep or for every click. But the way that I want you to do it at first is I want you to do it on every click. Because we're trying to build your internal clock. And the only way that we can do that, to build your internal clock, is to do this one step at a time. So in this case here, you're going to go. If you think about a click happening every single time you make an action, then it's really hard to fall off of that click. If you heard a click every other time you had an action, then your chance of having of messing up, it goes higher. If you had a click every 4 times or every 8 or every 16 times, now you only have a correction happening every now and then. So you really have to have that internal clock really tweaked down in order for you to be able to do that, okay? And if you don't, then there's going to be a problem, okay? Now, an unfortunate thing for me is that I have to pee in the first time of doing these live broadcasts, ever. And this is not a joke, like I've got to go. So what I'm going to do with you, I'm so sorry. Don't leave. Don't go anywhere. It's literally going to be 2 seconds. What I want you to do is I want you to do this. I'm going to let this thing run for a minute. What I want you to do is I want you to just go, this is all I want you to do. I want you to go like this. If you're new, I want you to go. If you're more advanced, I want you to do this. I want you to go. If you're really advanced, you go. That sort of thing, okay? I'm so sorry. This is what happens in live, and I just ate. I am so sorry. I gotta go. Work with the metronome for 1 second. I apologize. We're really getting to know each other here, aren't we? Oh, boy. That's real live TV right there. How many folks did I lose? What? Like 2 people? Man, you guys are dedicated, man. That is legit. That is legit. Thank you for letting me use the restroom. I apologize. That's a first time ever. So, sorry. Gotta go. Nature calls. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, so I apologize. It's really unprofessional, but... Okay, so you get the idea. So what I want you to do is that. Then, now here's what I do. Here's a super ninja trick for getting really good at this stuff, okay? Is what you want to do is, I'm going to bring this down to say 60. Now every metronome works differently. I've never used this metronome. It's that easy to use that I could just figure out what I'm doing here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half. And I could play the same thing. I could play real slow. I could go. Or I could do it double. Good to mouth it first before you play it. So, bum 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 ba 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 bum bum bum. I got to read some of these texts because apparently you guys are goofing on me. You guys. All right. So, or again, I could go, watch this. I could do 4 for every beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, right? So like, ba 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 bum ba 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 bum. Now I'm doing 4 clicks per, or 4 notes per click. Okay, now what does that do? Well, that makes it to where I have less correction. Okay, this is reminding me, this is what's on beat. I'm not on beat. Hopefully I'll be playing on beat, but this is going to be correct. So if I'm playing too fast, it's going to feel like this thing's slowing down. Okay, if I'm playing too slow, it's going to feel like it's moving me too quickly. But this is right. So you start with lots of clicks, and you can play, you can even have 2 clicks per time that you play. And then the next go, you would do it 1 click for every time you play, and then you cut it back to 2 notes per click, and then you could go back to 4 notes per click. You could do as many as you want. So I have a whole course on doing this inside of UGS because I think it's so valuable, right? So here we go. So I'm going to go. Practice whatever you want. Now, you could double that up too, and maybe that's too fast. Maybe you would have to dial it back a little bit, but you get the idea. We're always doing some sort of subdivision, either 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 4, 1 to 8, 1 to 16. And I'll tell you who's got a great app. One of my favorite apps from a really great guitar instructor and a good guy all around is Justin Sanderco. And he's got one called the Time Trainer. And I have that on my phone. Actually, he beat me to the punch because everything about that app is what I wanted to develop. And I had notes and everything, created this whole thing. And then he came out with that app. And I'm like, nice job, Justin. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And he came out with it before me, right? We've talked about this before, that ideas visit many people, whether that's a song idea or that is an app idea or a business idea or whatever. So if the universe, however you want to look at it, gives you an idea that comes out of the ether, run with it. Because if not, somebody else will. I'm sure everybody in here has had an idea and then they saw somebody else did it, right? That happens all the time. It's not just you. You thought it was just you. It happens all the time. So if you get an idea, honor it and run with it, and don't be afraid of giving it some legs. Okay. All right, good. We're let's get to some questions here now. Okay, beautiful. Okay. So glad you guys are sticking with me, even though I had a little bathroom break. Thank you, thank you. All right, let's get to some questions. I want to help you out here. Oh, by the way, Justin's time trainer, what's really cool about it is you could do stuff like drop beats where the beat won't be there sometimes, and you could say a percentage of, or you can have it speed up slowly. So if you're working on a riff, you can have it slowly speed up according to however you want it to. Pretty cool stuff. Can you please talk about right hand while doing scales? So there's a couple different things that you could do when you're picking scales. You can do straight alternate picking, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Or you can do what's called economy picking, which is you're picking down or up depending on where the pick is going. First, let me say thank you so much to 10.69, a lifetime UGS member, best guitar guy on the internet. Thanks for all you do. You could be a motivational speaker for sure. Oh, thank you, 10. I really appreciate that. If I could get the words out of my mouth, I could. If you guys were up in here, it would all make sense, because it makes sense to me. My mouth has a hard time delivering that sometimes. But 10 points, thank you, buddy. Super appreciative of that. Okay, so I said there's alternate picking, which is down, up, and thanks for the donation, super kind. Down, up, that's alternate picking. But then we also have economy picking. So alternate picking says you just down, up whenever you pick. That's just it. No matter what, down, start with a down, next one's an up, and it just does that no matter what you do. Okay, that's alternate picking. Economy picking is when we do this, but what we do is we pick straight alternate picking unless there's an economical reason to not do that. And so what I mean by that is this. Watch this. If I have 3 notes on this string, if I have 2 notes on a string, it makes sense. Watch. Down, up, and then you go to another string, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's very symmetrical. But what happens if you have 3 notes on a string? Now watch this. We go down, up, down. Now the next, I'm going down, right? I said down, up, down. Just remember we're down. And the next note that I need to hit is on the string below me. So would it make sense for me to go down, up, down, go past the next string that I'm going to pick, and then come up? It might if you're doing alternate picking, but economy picking says don't do that. That's a wasted movement. And if you practice this economy picking, you get very, very fast at it. So for instance, you would go down, up, down. The next note after this is down. So I'm just going to keep picking down. So I'm going to go down, up, down, down. Does that make sense? Looks like this. Down, up, down, down. Right? Make sense? Okay. So, and in this case here, if we had 3 notes per string, we might go down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. So you can see it's not strict alternate picking anymore, right? Now it's economy picking. And I teach that a whole section inside of UGS, okay? All about that. Man, it's raining so hard right now. I explained the downbeat and upbeat. Okay, so if we have a song, right, and it's going like, my baby don't mess around, right? We know, hey ya. That's our downbeat. That's typically when your foot hits the ground. Okay, so your foot's hitting the ground on the downbeat. That's called a downbeat. So when your foot goes down, it's usually called the downbeat. And then when your foot comes up, it's the very opposite. That's called the upbeat. And usually when you're strumming, you want your strum down to happen on the downbeat and your up strum to happen on the upbeat. So for instance, if my beat's like 1, 2, 3, 4, my strum would be like this. So every time my hand is going down, my foot is hitting the ground. So 1, 2, 3, 4. My foot has to come up so it can go down again. So that's called the upbeat. So 1 and. Okay? And that's what we call a backbeat, BL Bowen. It's called the backbeat. So, when you emphasize the backbeat, when you emphasize the upbeat, that's called the backbeat. Did I wash my hands? Well, yeah, but I wash my hands before I go to the restroom. Personal joke. Inside joke. Yes. What common chord progressions have pulled you from a performance jam and other artists have used? What common chord progressions have pulled you from a performance jam and other artists have used? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but any combination of 1, 4, 5, minor 6 are my favorite. So if you're playing in the key of G, using a G major, E minor, C, and D. In the case of this chord progression that I was using, an E minor, A minor, B7, I love those. I love anything to do with that kind of sound. So that's kind of my favorite. Can you demonstrate syncopation, please? So syncopation is when we emphasize an upbeat. Okay, so if we were going 2, 3, 4. So I tell you what, syncopated rhythm would be like a reggae. So every chord that I hit here is going to be on the upbeat, right? So 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. Does that make sense? I need to fix this so I have less of my hair and more of the guitar. Can we do that? Can we do that? I think so. I think that's what we need right there. Right? So you guys can actually see the guitar, right? Daryl's saying, do I have a lesson on using the pick? Yes, and we talked about that just a few days ago, actually on day 9. If you want to watch that live lesson, Daryl, but what's the quicker way to do it is to hit the second link below, get inside of UGS Standard. It's free for you today, Daryl. And I do have a lesson specific. I have a few lessons on it. Number 1, how to hold the pick, how to get used to holding it, which, by the way, just carry it around with you everywhere for a little while. Whether you're playing the guitar or not, just carry it in your fingers as if you're playing it. I promise you, it's one of the best things that you could do to get used to using your pick, even though you're not actually playing. Just hold it in your hand. Trust me, just do it. And then using the pick rest, which is one of the first lessons inside of UGS. If that pick rest lesson helped you, friends, if you're in UGS Standard, which none of you should not be, so everybody should be saying that pick rest helped them if it did. But if you're in UGS, which everybody should be, right, and the pick rest helped you, please let, who said it? Who asked that question? Daryl. Let Daryl know. You can tag him on there. Let him know if that helped you or not, because that pick rest is absolutely a game changer, okay? Jaman. I know I lower my camera every day. I know. Reggae face. Braid your hair, Eric. I did one time. I used to have hair in the 90s. It was down to here, just all one length. It was just a bob, just one length. And a friend of mine did that. A gal friend of mine did that one. One day, we were driving home from somewhere, and she put braids. I had braids all in my hair. It was ridiculous. I think I have a picture of it somewhere. Okay, do a lesson on Diamonds and Rust, Judas Priest style. Oh, I love that song, right? Economy picking makes so much sense to me. I fail to see where alternate picking would take precedence. Can you give me an example of a song where alternate picking supersedes economy? No, I can't, Al, because you're right. Usually, alternate picking, like, I'll tell you, here's one. Alternate picking, if you're just doing like mando picking or tremolo picking, that's just all up and down, right? But other than that, no, Al, I can't make an argument for it. When I just started playing guitar, Al, I did economy picking all the time. I didn't do alternate picking. And then a buddy of mine turned me on to Yngwie Malmsteen, one of the fastest, best guitar players that I know. He's fantastic. He's a freak of nature. Don't try to spell the first name. The last name is Malmsteen, Malmsteen. He's Swedish. And he's a freak of nature on the guitar. He's so good, so fast, so precise. His speed is so blazing that your jaw will drop. Even if you don't like the genre, you will be just moved by how fast and clean this guy can play. Anyhow, he said to me, well, this guy does strict alternate picking. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, well, that's when you just down up all the time. Well, number one, my friend told me the wrong thing. Talk about like holding on to a belief that led me down a whole road, down a whole life that wasn't true. Not a whole life, but I practiced alternate picking for like 20 years after that, until I found out that no, he wasn't doing alternate picking. He was doing economy picking most of the time, and that's why he was doing stuff so fast. So economy picking was what I did in the beginning, and then I learned how to alternate pick. Okay, I love Buckethead, by the way. Someone's saying Buckethead is. I'll tell you about him in a second here, but economy picking is fantastic. It's a great way to pick. So if you're doing that already, great. If you're doing alternate picking, or if you try to do alternate picking, what it can do is get you more focused on what it is that you're trying to do. Which means if it's pulling you out of your comfort zone, then 100% it's helping you a ton, okay? Number one, thank you so much for the donation, Dominique, coming in again, always with the donation. So kind of you. Thanks, friend. Happy Easter to you, your family, and the team, of course. Thank you, buddy. Buckethead, I know, crazy name, but Buckethead is a great anonymous guitar player out there. I mean, they know who he is, but he's a fantastic guitar player who wears a bucket on his head, and he wears a mask, and the guy is just a freak of nature, an amazing guitar player. May I please see that F minor 7 chord again? I bar 1 fret and fret strings 5 at fret 3. Looks like you're also fretting string 2. So I don't know any of that, but what you're talking about there, but I'm just doing F minor 7 chord. So this is F, this is F major, this is F minor, and this, if I lift my pinky, is F minor 7. Okay? That's what it is there. Went to your friend Guthrie Trapp. I hear lots of old school Shuggy Otis. Guthrie Trapp is a freak of nature on the guitar. He's so good. I could listen to him all day long. He's just like so in the zone. He's one of those guys that, you know, he's just one of those guys who lives and breathes guitar, and that's why he's great. He's a fantastic player. On chord progressions, weird dream last night. I was playing the George Strait and Willie Nelson, and I absolutely had a mind blurb and jammed on the jam. Mind kickstart. Cool. All right. Oh, nice. Okay, thank you, Thank you, Jason. Can you briefly talk about the displays behind me? Yeah, I can for a second. So let's just do this. Oh, crud, I don't have my thing plugged in here. I need to plug that in, but just as well, because I'll show you around the room here real quick. So these are just some of the, sorry about this. This is just some of the plaques that my wife has gotten. She wrote on Carrie Underwood and Eli Young and Tyler Farr, Leanne Rimes, David Nail, Garth Brooks, Marty Raybon, written for Disney, and she's an amazing songwriter. So like pretty much everything that you see here are plaques and what have you from things that she's won or songs that she's been on, albums that she's been on, etc., etc. Sorry, that's really hard to put back in there. So she is a fantastic songwriter. We are writing, we have a book written together. We're also going to create a course inside of UGS. So she is someone to watch as far as writing songs. And in fact, together we have a project that's called Kirby and the Roaches, where we've written some tunes together. So you can check that out. Eric, where's my wall of fame? I don't have one. It's got like 2 plaques on it. So she's the talent in the family, not me. I pretend. She's amazing. Thank you, BL. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, you guys are my wall. Thank you, Larry. Indeed, you guys are my wall. Yeah, if you like country music or even pop music, so she's written pop music as well, but she is, a legitimate, like, Nashville songwriter. That's what she's done for, I don't know, 15, almost 20 years now. So she works for a publishing company. In fact, she just got a new deal. She was working for Disney. In fact, if you go to Disney, the song that they play during the firework display at the Magic Kingdom, the main song, it's called Happily Ever After. She wrote that song with one of her songwriting friends here in Nashville. The name escapes me right off the top of my head. Andy Dodd, who's also is on like 50 million records, High School Musical, and a bunch of others. But she wrote that song with him, and if you go there, she is on Wikipedia. I think she might have a Wikipedia page. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Her name is Melissa Pierce, Peirce, and she's a fantastic songwriter. Amazing. So good. So good. Would you do some Eric Church song lessons in the future YouTube videos? I should. She's actually written with Eric Church and was quite good friends with him actually before he went on to do his thing. You know, things change when you become a famous star, and you don't hang out with the same people. Some people don't, like Eric. But that's fine, whatever. Do I also play the piano? Yeah, I do a little bit, but not very much. You don't want to hear me. I'm not going to serenade you on piano for sure. She's a great singer, yeah. What is your amazing wife cooking today? She always makes these pancakes, these chocolate chip pancakes in the morning, and they are bonkers. I absolutely love them. I have heard of Chapman guitars, and I understand they're pretty good. Eric, is someone ever makes it to Nashville, do you do private lessons? Dennis is saying, Dennis, I do private lessons, but I honestly try not to, and the only reason is because of time. My dance card is really filled with everything that I'm trying to do. I try to pack a lot into a day, so between working with my crew and being at the studio and my family and everything else that I have going on, my time is very, very limited. So I try not to do private lessons, and I have everything online. So what I tell folks is, for meeting with me for 2 hours, it would cost $400. I mean, you could be in the Unstoppable Guitar System for less than that. So why wouldn't you do that? That's what I always tell folks. But I have had folks take advantage of that, and they come and we do lessons, and it goes great, and they learn stuff. And so yes, I do that. So if you're ever really up for it and you're okay with spending $200 an hour, I don't like to charge that, but I have to charge that because I'm way too busy to not charge that. So I'm trying, if I charged $100 or $50, I'd be swamped because people are always coming through Nashville wanting lessons. So I can't do that. It just doesn't make common sense. I can reach here today. I'm going to reach several thousand people. So that makes more sense, you know? Oh, thank you, Jim. I saw a previous segment you did together the other day. She is very talented. She is, and she's a great gal. She's a gem. I love her. Heck, I married her. Okay, can you say anything about why I can't get my fretting fingers to stretch properly or land straight? Like, for example, when you do the F chord, your fingers lay straight. Mine seem to twist. Yes, it's because you got your thumb in the wrong place. So if you take your thumb, let's do this. If you take your thumb in the back of the neck and you want it to be more like this, like closer towards the bottom here, you're going to have more slack and you're going to have more access to the frets. Now you may say, well, that's harder to play. Yeah, I know it is, but that's what's going to give you that stability and be able to play properly. If your thumb's up here Now you can see you're slacking because all your slack is right here. You're holding on to the neck the wrong way, as opposed to if your thumb's here. Now you've got all this room and your fingers can come out the front like this. But if let's try to do this. If your thumb is up here, look what happens. You have limited movement here. So I got to drop my thumb, and now I can get up here and do all the things I need to do. Now, a lot of people find that a little bit uncomfortable because they have to use more muscles in their hand. That's okay. That's why we practice, because you'll condition those muscles. You'll get faster. You'll get stronger. Your technique will improve. You'll be fine. Everybody goes through this, okay? I'll be moving to Memphis. How far is Nashville? Got to hook up for a meet. Stafford, it's about 3.5 hours away. It's not super close. Am I self-taught? I don't believe anybody is self-taught. Just because they say they're self-taught doesn't mean they're self-taught, because if you're listening to music, you're hearing, and then you go to play on the guitar, I get the concept of what they're saying. I'm self-taught. But in that case, yeah, I'm sure I'm self-taught. But if I've read a book, or I've read tablature, or I've listened to music and copied it, or have watched somebody playing on TV, how am I self-taught? I'm learning from somebody who learned from somebody who learned from somebody, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think anybody's truly self-taught. And if one person's self-taught, then we're all self-taught. Then you're just like learning. So I don't consider myself self-taught, and I don't consider anybody self-taught. If they're learning songs from other people, they're not self-taught. They're learning from all the people that person learned from. That's my opinion, though. What's a good acoustic guitar for $200? The Orangewood is a great guitar for $200. I have other ones that are in my store. And the description below, I think it might be the second to last link, but near the end of the description there, you'll see something that says Gears and Review. Look at that. And I have some videos for you, or not some videos, but I have some reviews and the gears, the gear that I would suggest for you in regards to guitars and all the rest. I'm struggling in trying to do string strumming. Alexander, watch the strumming video. Second link below, UGS Standard. Watch that video, okay? It's a whole series. There's like 30-something videos in there, but you'll see something on strumming. Do the exercises. I have a PDF for you with 5 different levels of strumming. I start you off super easy so you can get the concepts of understanding how to strum. Once you get that, then I ramp you up to level 2, and then 3 and 4, and then we start doing ghost strums. And once you get this the easy way, then I kind of turn up the heat a little bit slowly. You're going to get it, and you're going to understand how to do it. The only reason you're messing this up is because you haven't been properly shown and done it in a step-by-step fashion and have something to go on, okay? So take advantage of that second link below, UGS Standard. At least get in there, okay? Stephen, thank you so much. Happy Easter to all. Thank you for your great teaching. God bless you. God bless you, Stephen. Thank you so much again for donating. I see you showing up every day like that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Does the name UGS name come from the style of boot? No, UGS comes from Uggs. Is that what you mean, Uggs? Nah, it comes from the Unstoppable guitar system. Because you're going to be unstoppable when you get in there. Would you take a bottle of adult beverage donation next time we are passing through? Thanks, Jimmy. Yes, I will. I'm not much of a drinker, but I'll have something every now and then. Every now and then I'll have like a hard cider. Ooh, it's hard. Or like a cocktail or something. But I'm not a big fan of alcohol. Nothing against it. I just don't particularly love it. When I do, I order a girl drink every single time. And my wife orders the guy drink, you know. They'll bring out like a gimlet and a cosmopolitan, and at the end they go, this, because I like girly drinks. Can you speak to fretboard radius? Does it matter? Jim is saying, it might matter if you like one particular, you know, somebody likes blonde, someone likes brunettes, someone likes maple, someone likes rosewood. You might like one radius more than another, but there's not one that's better than another. It's just what's subjective. So you might like one more than another. For me, I have all different types of guitars. So to me, it doesn't matter that much. I love them all in different ways, you know. Someone's saying claw finger picking as opposed to 3-finger picking. Any input? No. Watch my lessons on finger picking on YouTube. You can search Your Guitar Stage finger picking, and I'll tell you specifically what that's about. You know what I mean? How to do that. Can I play anything from Fear Factory? I don't know anything by them. Yeah. So Don is saying radius matters. So radius matters to Don. So like, but again, what radius? So Don may like a real thick neck, and then somebody else is like, man, I hate thick necks. I like a thin neck. So again, radius might matter if it matters to you, and then it's probably going to be different than Don. So how much does it matter? You know what I mean? These sorts of questions are pretty subjective. Stevie Ray Vaughan learned from Albert King. Yes. Yep. Again. Eric, does your spouse mainly write using a piano for the initial writing, or does she use guitar chords, or does it depend on the melody? It just depends, and oftentimes she's co-writing. So right now I'll do these live lessons, and then everything's set up for her, and she'll sit here and she'll go to write right now because obviously she can't meet with other folks. So indeed, then she just starts writing over the internet like that, and it depends. Sometimes there's somebody else there with a guitar, sometimes she is, so it just depends on the day. Depends on who she's writing with. All that. Oh my goodness, so many questions. Good. I'm trying to get to them all. How to perfect in strumming patterns. Sita, watch the strumming video that's in the free course that I'm giving you today. Second link below. Click that, follow that, and follow that in step-by-step order. That's how to get good at strumming. Don, why don't I put a sign on the wall that says it's in my free course? I know, Don. I say it a million times, and I know it aggravates those that are in here, that are in there already, and I apologize, but you can obviously see I'm not making this up. I'm not just, number one, I'm giving a free course here, so I'm not making anything off of that, right? But some people just join us, I think, and they don't realize, and who knows the reasons why, but maybe they're not listening, maybe they're just looking for a snap answer that's going to get them there, which it never is. It's always, you got to do the work, you got to dig in. Oh, yay, Liberty Prime. First time seeing this channel, just sub. Thank you, Liberty. Speaking of sub, as Liberty just did, thank you, Liberty. If you haven't already, friends, and you're new to these videos, go ahead and hit subscribe because I want to help you. And I've got at least 1,300 videos here on YouTube, and will continue to serve you because I love helping folks to learn how to play guitar. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. Definitely hit like if you haven't already, and share this video with a friend, okay? Or share it on Twitter, whatever. What was that strumming video? It's in the free course. Second link below. Did I miss anything important today? Amber, come on. Yes, it's all important. Come on, Amber. You know I love you, Amber. Ooh, all these years my thumb was too high, and I couldn't understand why I was always struggling 2 seconds listening to you. Now I understand. Good. All right. Beautiful. Oh, some people saying they got small hands. I have a video coming out on that shortly. It's all about guitar excuses. We dropped a little teaser video on Instagram. You guys got to check that out if you haven't already. Check that out on Instagram. You guys are going to love this video, I think. We really had fun with it. But it's all about guitar excuses. You're going to want to watch it when it comes out. It's going to make you happy. Happy Easter, Eric. Did you believe we're already on day 12? Authentically MG, you've got a great attitude. It feels like we've been here for a lot longer. Now, We had left the studio earlier than just the first here, but yeah, it feels longer, but maybe that's because I'm only counting the 12 days, but actually we were working, but not at the studio for maybe 2 weeks, very minimum of a week. Oh my goodness, trying to get all these questions, so many. Good. Okay, make sure that you put a question mark and all caps too, because I can see these a lot quicker than having to read them all. It's very difficult to read them all, okay? Don's saying free course has no bugs in it. No bugs at all. I don't know what that means. Yeah, no bugs. I have a short pinky. When I play certain chords, oh, wait a minute, Joe. You have a small pinky? I do too. Look at my pinky. Dude, we're brothers. Mine's short too. So is everybody's, Joe. We all have short pinkies. Evolutionarily, or however you want to look at it, over the years, it just has gotten less, it's not featured as much. So it's definitely shorter. So don't worry about that. That's okay. It looks like I'm flipping everyone the bird. Any tips to reduce this? Joe, exercise number 1 inside the free course. Do that. I'm just messing with you, Joe. We all have short pinkies, and it's all lazy. It's lazy for everybody. There's not a person in here whose pinky was the strongest finger. It's always the laziest finger. Always. Watch dexterity exercise number 1 in the free course that you can access by going to link 2 below. Okay? Zook is saying, you're the only person on YouTube that isn't spouting conspiracy theories. This is a safe space. It is a safe space. But that's only because I teach guitar. Otherwise, I probably would be talking about all those things. Because there's stuff going on. Look, man. Just dig. Just dig. How about that? Any answers that you get are not mainstream anymore. If you don't get that, then you gotta wake the F up. Because you're not gonna be getting, I'm sorry, Zook, I know you're complimenting me here, but I'm telling you, you are not going to get straight information from the news. And if you think that you are, I'm sorry, I'm gonna offend people and people are gonna drop off, but this is the truth and you gotta hear it. And if I can save one person here, then fine for everybody else who drops off, who's too scared to listen to this. But you got to look for different places for information other than the news. You're not going to get it fed through you through programming. This is programming. Programming, like they would a computer, okay? Don't get your information straight from the news. You can take it with a grain of salt, but don't do that, okay? Sorry, I know you were giving me a compliment there, but that's all I can say about that. I don't want to offend too many people, but at the same time, I do want to encourage you to do your own digging. And there's plenty of information out there. Look, there's a reason that there are videos being taken down from YouTube. Taken down. Freedom of speech, right? You should be able to put it, if it's not going outside their guidelines, why are they taking videos down off of YouTube and these other places? Why are they doing that? Because they don't agree? No. There's tons of stuff they don't agree with. It's not the reason. Gotta investigate that stuff. Should I watch all of your videos starting from the very first one? Indeed, Amber. Start from the very first one. Start from the very first one and don't skip any. If you skip any, that means you're skipping the information, and then later on, when you're screwed up, you're going to be saying, "Oh, I wonder why I'm screwed up." It's because you skipped something, right? Oh, I was right. I lost some people. That's okay. I got to speak the truth. If it means that I lose people, then that's what it means. Should a beginner switch to alternate picking when they can play semi-okay down picking? Should a beginner switch to alternate picking when they can play semi-okay down picking? Yeah, sure. It's a good thing to practice. It's just another thing. It's not like switch to, okay, I'm just doing alternate picking from now on. It's like it's another tool in your toolbox. Does that make sense? Eric, thanks for your inspiration and encouragement. Thank you, James. I appreciate you getting it, what I'm talking about here. Thank you, bud. Eric, do you think you're undervaluing your first 30? Worth often equates with cost. Mike, the reason that I do that first 30, and it's unfortunate because people think that when you throw the word free on it, that it means that it's not worth anything. So, we are programmed over, through marketing and what have you, to think that things that are free are cheap or a trick or whatever. And oftentimes they are. So that's unfortunate for people like me who are giving away a lot of stuff for free. But, whatever. It's like, this is the world, and you're going to lose people and you're going to gain people. And the right people are with me and the wrong people are not with me. And that's good. I want to keep it that way. Get the hell out, wrong people. I don't want them there. If I could help them, then great. But, maybe people think that I'm undervaluing it. But this is how I look at it. What happened was I hit like massive critical mass with how many people I'm reaching. I mean, I think at this point now we're reaching like 60,000 views a day. So you can imagine how many comments we get on my Udemy courses, inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. I mean, there's so many places where I have to answer people that I can't get to them all. And so it's so much easier for me and better for you if I can say, dude, go here, because you're going to get 90% of your answers answered right here in this one link. That's the second link below. If you go there, you're going to get so many of your questions answered. That's so much easier to do that than to literally have to answer the same questions over and over again, and it helps the customer. So that's why I do that. But yeah, for free, I'm literally, if you and I went over those one-on-one lessons, and you'd learn the same exact thing, it would cost you well over $1,000, because there's no way we're going to be able to go through that stuff in 5 hours. Or maybe we would. Maybe we would go over it in 5 hours if you were really paying attention. So maybe $1,000 course for free. Like if we equated it to one-on-one. How about that? Okay. Sir, please help me find chords. Any song you hear, sir, please. You've got to learn. You got to do the gamut. You've got to do the gauntlet. You've got to learn stuff by ear, and the way to do that is one thing at a time. Is you've got to learn to play by ear. Search Your Guitar Sage ear, and I'll help you start with this. Okay. How do you lose weight, Eric? Eat less food and work out a lot, for sure. That's the way I did it. The heaviest I've ever been was 185, which is not, I guess, super heavy, but for my frame, I'm kind of a smaller guy. I should be about 145, so I was about 40 pounds overweight. And I just did that. I did intermittent fasting, which I'm doing again now. Since I've been home, I've been eating 3 meals a day, and I've been feeling it. And so I got to go back to 2, so I started that yesterday. And that's really not a problem for me if I can keep my mind on other things. So doing intermittent fasting, look that up. It works wonders, absolute wonders. So healthy for you. Check that out. And also work out and don't eat lots of sugars and stuff like that. There's so many things I could go into about that. Eric, what are your thoughts about using more than one YouTube instructor? Kind of like using multiple, most of your buds too, as I feel pick me up, little things from each. Pros, cons? I don't think there's any cons per se, especially if you can see, like, for instance, I may listen to one guy, like, for instance, I don't consider myself an atheist, but I listen to Sam Harris all the time. He's a full-on, staunch atheist. But there are things that he says that challenge me and make me think, and he has some great stuff to bring to the table. He's not your typical atheist that's always that seems seemingly always angry all the time, right? I know I'm pigeonholing, but you get the basic idea. A lot of them seem very angry. He's not like that for the most part, and so he's a guy that I would watch a lot. So similarly, if you're watching these other people, you don't have to take everything that they say. If you can see that there's a frailty there, that they, that maybe they're a little snobby in their teaching or they're too quick or whatever, but you're still learning stuff from them, then by all means, listen to them. I love that. Diversity is really good, and it will challenge you. So definitely listen to all those dudes. It's great. Liberty Prime, you got it right. Now is the time to love people, not hate. Be kind. 100%. Love, 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 love. This is not just a mantra of the hippies. It's just true. There's not there's not one thing that you grew up regretting or something that happened to you that probably couldn't have been resolved with love or a kind gesture or something like that, right? So it's really what it comes down to, and it's all about relearning life. And when we know we did something wrong, I say, that's fine, apologize, but let it hurt you enough to where you change your actions to where you don't do that anymore. You know, when I've been short with a pet because I'm like, God, you're being, not lazy, but like, why don't you eat your food or whatever? And then you find out, oh, fine, my cat had cancer and I was sitting there scolding it that it wasn't eating or whatever. Well, that makes me feel like crap. And it should, because my mind was not open to what possibly could be going on, right? So it's good to have a spirit that is soft, a spirit that's broken and that's listening and being observant instead of just knowing what's going on all the time. I run away from people that act like they know what they are doing all the time. What I mean by that is when you have somebody who's so staunch and they just know the answer, boy, there's nothing of a bigger flag saying, I don't know the answer, than someone saying, I know the answer. There's nothing bigger than that. It's so very obvious. It's another thing to say, I really truly believe that this is true, but I'm open to being wrong. And I think that's the spirit we should have in the world. It's like, I really believe this is right, but I'm open. Like, if you would have challenged me, let's do this. And I love talking with other people that are open like that. When they're not open like that, I won't talk to them at all. It's a waste of my time, right? Happy Resurrection Day, indeed. The golden rule still applies. It does. It applies in every religion and every non-religion. It just applies everywhere. How? How do I know this? Because everybody in this chat right now wants to be treated with kindness. In all situations, even when you're being an a-hole, you want to have redemption. You want to go, God, I was being an a-hole. I'm sorry. And you want someone to go, it's all right. I understand. I'm an a-hole too sometimes. That's what we all want. We just want kindness. And it's about the easiest freaking thing to do. But it does take being, getting to higher states of enlightenment. And we can do that in every single day, in every single moment. We can increase our light. Oh, I love this. Always sit by the window in a church so you can toss out the stuff you don't need. Indeed. Yep. Suggest some foods to eat, please. Starving. My knees hurts always asking what's for lunch. Avocado is about my favorite food. It's full of good fat, saturated fat, which they used to say was bad for you. Now they're like, well, it's good for you. Of course it has. It's always been good for you. It's an avocado it's avocado. It's good for you. Eric, you are a humble person deep down, and that matters and comes across in your presentation. Thank you, Joe. Just like anybody else, I'm learning. So now I have moments where I'm clear, and I have moments where I'm humble, and then there's moments where I'm a complete a-hole, and I can see it. And I guess that's what I'm saying is that if you can see it, then you can correct it. But until you can see it, you can't correct it. We all think that we're right in our religion and in our politics and in our belief systems and everything. But it really takes a mature and enlightened mind to step back and go, okay, this is what I think, and this is why I think it, but I'm open to discuss this with my strongest opponent. And if they're playing by the rules and we can actually, discuss this in a manner that we can both look for the truth, then I think that's really powerful, Is there an easy way to remember all those pentatonic forms? Lori, the best way to do it is to sit down and learn one form and then get familiar with it. Get familiar with it like you would, getting to know your cat or whatever, right? You play with your cat, you spend time with it. In the same way with this form, you want to play with it, you want to noodle with it, you want to try it in different positions and think about it and look at it on paper and improvise to it. Use minimalistic blues that I show you on YouTube. Use jam tracks. Get to know one form. Then when you get to know one form, then move to another form. If you're just memorizing them, it might be a little bit harder than if you just get familiar with them, if that makes sense, okay? All right, okay. All right, good. Where are the intermediate lessons on the membership? Brian, if you join Unstoppable Guitar System Classic, which is $5 a month, or Unstoppable Guitar System Pro, which is $19 a month, you will have access to intermediate and advanced lessons. The $19 a month gives you everything all at once and a lot more. So that's where you're going to find those. You can also do a lifetime membership if you would like, and that's just like lifetime, and then you're done. You got a lifetime of lessons. So very easy to do. Now, friends, here's the deal. If you haven't already, please like this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please do that. Please share this with a friend. Super easy to do this. I'm going live with you every day, and the reason that I'm doing this is that we've got these 30 days. With whatever your opinion is about that, I've got my own opinions, you have your opinions, and so does everybody else have their different opinions in here. That's okay. But we're going live for 30 days because we might as well. We're here, and we can improve our minds, we can improve our guitar playing skills and all that stuff, okay? So a couple things I want you to do. The very first link below will give you access to the PDF. The second link below will give you access to my courses, free and paid. Friends, take advantage of that free course that I'm giving you. I promise you, there's no tricks there. This is my livelihood. This is how I pay for lights and take care of my kids. So I'm not going to put something goofy on there and a virus and everything else. So don't worry about that. That would be really not cool to do and not very sustainable for my family. So I'm not doing that. I love doing this, and I've been doing this for a long time, 30-something years. I plan on doing it for 30 more years. I'm here for you. I'm really passionate about teaching people how to play guitar and thinking about becoming better in all these different areas. So, but the only thing I can do is help you through either giving you free stuff or if you want the paid stuff. So definitely take advantage of the free course. Second link below, UGS Standard, get in there. For all the folks that did donations today, you guys donated so much today, and you've been so kind. You guys have had great questions today. I really, truly appreciate this time with you. So thank you so much for joining me. I will be live with you again tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Jason, Mike, Emmy, whoever is in the crew that's with me today, are there any links that you guys want to give to folks right now? Any videos that we have recently, like the ZZ Top video would be a great one. If you guys haven't seen that and you love ZZ Top, I would love to show you that one. We have some other new videos that have gone up recently here. So if you want, drop a link in there so friends can go check that out. But in the meanwhile, friends, thank you so much. You guys rule. I know we got a little bit in the ether today here, but I felt like folks wanted that, and sometimes we do that. So if you guys ask me the question, I'm assuming that not just that person wants to hear it, but some other folks want to hear it too. So happy Easter to everybody. Stay up, stay encouraged, and all that good stuff. Love you guys. See ya. I'm out of here.